Hello and welcome everyone to the third battle of the DogLion livestream replay series, Battle of Malva. So we're playing as the Royal Scythians and as the Iceni here against Rome and Egypt. Rome is being played by Total Warzone and Egypt is being played by Explosive Fred, which does make me worry for his trousers. Anyway, I was playing as the Scythians, got my horse archers ready. I have no infantry, I have no access to any in multiplayer, so I had to go full on cav spam. I went for the noble horse archers, 6 of them, attacks my skirmish cav, and then I have Scythian royal horse, steppe armoured lancers, and then Scythian royal horse with my general. So 6 Scythian royal horse and 2 steppe armoured lancers. So there's the shock cav and the melee cav. So I tried to present I tried to keep some of my cavalry in the centre. Wasn't sure what Egypt was going to do. We decided that we try and actually keep together and go for Rome first, try and pick them off. Because at this point, we actually notice, and you'll see this probably throughout the battle if you keep an eye on the minimap, Rome pushes out to the right and never really, until far much later on in the replay, comes over to help the Egyptian player. He pushed way out to the right. I don't know what their plan was, unless they were planning on encircling us round here or something like that, but they never managed to get whatever they were planning working. And Rome, because it took itself so far out to the right, was never really able to help out the Egyptian player. But I wanted to point that out early on in case I focus on what's going on with Egypt. Dogbert had gone for some scorpions, playing as the Iceni. Got some heroic nobles along his front line as his infantry, including his general. Then behind that he got some chosen spear band on each side to protect from cavalry. Breton skirmishers, and at the back 2 units of heroic riders, so elite cavalry there for him. Not necessarily a hugely large army for either of us here. I'd gone for obviously cav supremacy, is all I can do with the Royal Scythians. Again, this faction was chosen by the Twitch chat, so I don't really have much say in it. But it was good fun actually. It was a nice way to decide what faction was going to play as. So here I thought I'd try and push up in the divide between Rome and Egypt and try and lure the citizen cav out with my horse archers until I could then smash in with my Scythian Royal Horse. And as you can see, I'm pushing up with the Scythian Royal Horse, bringing out my general and more Royal Horse just in case. Now at this point I would have expected Egypt to charge in. They had plenty of camel spearmen as well as camel archers, but they didn't.
Riders forwards!
And I'm able to push up here with my riders again to try and push a wedge through the enemy here. So my horse archers managed to get away no problem, and I'm able to charge in my Scythian Royal Horse, clipping the back of the citizen cavalry here. Obviously I'm cautious because they do have African war elephants and I don't want to stay in there too long, so I pull my cavalry over to hit this other unit of citizen cav to just do more damage. In we come. I love the almost antlers that we have. I always think we're riding goats. We do a little bit of damage, take them down to half health, they start wavering and we pull away because the elephants are close and this other unit of citizen cavalry is here. We stop, citizen cav comes in for another charge. And what's going on? I'm just trying to hold my cavalry here long enough to break these guys. Meanwhile, over on the left you can see the camels are starting to push against my troop, but not too much. Meanwhile, we're kind of ignoring the Roman player, and Dogbert is pulling his forces over to help me with the Egyptian player. So we managed to break that one unit of citizen cav, which is what I want to do, or at least route it, and I pull back with my Scythian Royal Horse. Meanwhile, I'm pushing in with my horse archers, although they're only walking at this point. I think they're about to get a run in a moment, to try and chase down and whittle down those African war elephants. Because if we can take them down, we're not too worried about what else Egypt can do to us. We're pretty confident after this point. If we could take down the elephants, we could probably beat them. Meanwhile, Rome now does start coming in, but as you can see by the map here, we've already got in between the two of them. And because of my cavalry so fast moving, we can easily present a new front to them on the side. If they'd done this earlier and put pressure on us, we may have had to have held back, but we've done the right thing. We've gone for the gap in between. Dogbert is obviously seeing the Roman player coming and he starts deploying troops to keep the Roman player. In fact, you can see the Roman player is still pulling back, so we were just trying to push him away. It's like sort of saying, no, you can't come in here. Meanwhile, there's a gap here and he's not really pushing in much with his Egyptian slingers, so my noble horse actually are reasonably armoured. I'm trying to go after the African war elephants. I didn't want to hit them with flaming arrows just yet. We get a shot back at them and it's over there. Didn't want to make them, I didn't want to set them on fire or weaken their morale that way because they weren't near a huge body of infantry yet. excuse me, and I wanted them, if anything, to lose their morale and berserk in the middle of their own forces. Dogbert's pushing forward with his heroic riders, again elite cavalry. I'm bringing up my general and Scythian Royal Horse over here. Meanwhile, I brought my step armoured lancers over to the far left because I wanted to try and outflank the camel spearmen over here. I've also got these noble horse archers as well to keep an eye on things. Again, Dogbert pulling back over here. We've sort of given up on going on to the Roman player because, again, looking at the tactical map, you can see how far away he is. I assume he's trying to get behind us, but really I didn't understand why. I would have tried to press in hard here because it would have caught us off guard, because I can't create a nice solid line of units because I've got cavalry. I can't really create a solid line that you can do with infantry. I see these guys charging on in. I managed to just get the order to pull my troops back. Camel spearmen coming in. Dogbert pulls his troops back. Meanwhile, my archers are up here, and I'm positioned cavalry tactically to draw the camel archers out so I can then swoop in and take them down. Meanwhile, the main bulk of the Egyptian infantry is moving towards Dogbert's line, which is forming up quickly. Dogbert gets his heroic riders in to hit the camel spearmen, and I pull all of my cavalry in to hit them here. Although they then stop and I get hit by the camel spearmen in the back, which isn't so great. Camel spearmen stop, they use trample, which the second unit was probably going to get a better trample, but the first one not so much. They're now pinned, and we're going to start turning on them with our Scythian Raw Horse. Plus, my horse archers are firing into here as well. Probably a little bit of friendly fire, not too great, but they've got that support there. And the camels are going down very quickly now. Very, very quickly. My troops are showing their quality. The armoured lancers holding their ground as well and pushing the camel spearmen back. You can see them all breaking there, although my armoured lancers think about wavering here, because I assume they get a negative morale drop for being near camels. And one of them routes over here, which does have a lot of units. I don't know if it comes back. We'll keep an eye on that. Pulling back though with my cavalry again so we can get some proper charges in. The camels start going because they're being pelted all this time by my horse archers, and they've just gone. They've just gone. Over here, we haven't been successful at pulling all of the troops out toward us, but the elephants are exposed at the back, so I now start swinging my troops round. Dogbert is constantly having to keep his units on the move, and he's actually had to sacrifice his scorpion here, which he was very fond of. So it's quite the loss. But he's pulling back because now the Roman player is putting the pressure on, pushing on round while we're almost divided, and we're having some trouble over on this side. He's pushing on round, so Dogbert has to swing on round as well. Over on this side, you'll have seen Sis and Cav come on in, but those armoured lancers did come back from their route, and we're charging back on in. That's a good charge. The lancers smash on through and instantly wavering the Sis and cavalry unit at the back, the other one bound to follow. Meanwhile, I'm pushing with the core strength of my cavalry force at the back of the Egyptian army, now trying to hit those African war elephants. I've already managed to bring a couple of them down. Dogbert pushes forward with his skirmishers, trying to get a volley off. And he does get a volley. It does a lot of damage, but it doesn't kill any of them. But it's about that next hit that probably would. I was trying to charge in with my cavalry, but I couldn't because obviously he's got all these spears protecting his back. So I pulled my cavalry over to smash into the skirmishers that are left undefended over here, uniting all of my cavalry, my melee cav, together. Elephants have managed to get into Dogbert's African war elephants, but they are now out of control. They've lost an elephant there as well. They're down to 16. Dogbert now kind of pulling back to try and form a line against the Roman player, which is now forming up his forces and pushing forward. They are tired though, because he's been running these guys back and forward all the time, and now would have been the time to press against us here. I've got my infantry over here, my cavalry over here. I have no infantry. It's the one unit I will not have in this battle. And we're trying to push these guys back. We managed to break the rest of the Sicilian cavalry, and it's just a unit of camel spears at the back that we're trying to go for. Meanwhile, I'm pushing in with the noble horse archers, trying to break the cavalry here. We're trying to bring down the enemy general as well, the Ptolemaic cavalry of Egypt, to shatter their morale and break them completely. Dogbert pulls back, getting ready on the top of the hill to face Rome, and it's at this point that it's kind of more or less up to me to try and whittle down Egypt's forces a bit, or at least make them break. You can see the elephants completely gone. Took that one down with the horse archers. They're coming in for Dogbert's flank here, and there's not much I can do. He pulls heroic riders over, but I'm trying to whittle down now his spears as much as possible. But they are a constant threat. Swings around with his skirmishers. They're now exposed, and I decide that this is the time to go for a charge. With my cavalry, they are tired. but they're still alright. But Explosive Fred manages to pull his spears back into the mix, but not enough. My Scythian Raw Horse managed to crash into the Egyptian slingers. And this is the beginning of the end for his slingers. I now start putting my cavalry out to the left, putting the pressure over there. Meanwhile, I'm still pelting all these guys from the back, and that has actually stopped Explosive Fred from being able to push and attack Dogbert. Dogbert's pulled back, rightly so, to try and draw Rome toward us again. Rome actually isn't moving this time. This is when I got a little bit worried because I didn't know, I wondered almost if Dogbert had gone too far back to help support me, which is what the Roman player had been doing to Egypt through most of the game. I had to pull these guys back because they were getting close to the Roman line, and they've also got some more infantry there. We're whittling these guys down as much as possible, but I can't really go for full head-on charges against these guys because they are spears, and even my pretty powerful cavalry are not going to do so well. So I decided I'm going to try and flank them with my skirmishers, move around with the rest of my cavalry, which have taken some reasonable losses by now. I'm probably at half strength on most of my cavalry units, but I see an opening here again for the slingers, and in we go with my armoured lancers. They get a volley in from the horse archers back there, and my Scythian Raw Horse, we go on in, and it's death from behind. My lancers charging on through. In come the spears, they're trying to get a charge off. A couple of my units are going to get caught here, and I think my lancers are done for. Dogbert pulls in with his heroic riders to take out the Egyptian slingers, because at this point as well, the spears of Egypt are the only thing that can actually really protect Rome from our cavalry. Rome has brought no spear units, just swords, which is to be expected, obviously, for a Roman player. So again, we're still kind of pressing them from both sides. Come back up to the tactical map. As you can see, they've now got a united front, and we're the ones that are divided, but obviously we're trying to pull them out. And Egypt's general comes on out here. I don't go in for the bait, try and pull me in. He's pulling his spears over, and they're now forming one united force. So I try and press out wide to stop them coming on in. Just going to come up to the tactical map so you can just see this movement here, because there's a lot of quick movements going on. Praetorian cavalry pushing out here. I'm keeping my cavalry over on the left. We'll just watch Dogbert pushing up. Well, so my troops pushing up here. Dogbert pushing in the centre to create a battle line here. Trying to press Rome and Egypt into a corner almost, so that we can pick them off. Back down to the battle map rather. Forming up with our troops. Dogbert's heroic riders still in really good shape, and it's almost, I'm almost relying on them for some of the pushing power now, because my cavalry here, not as strong as I'd have liked it. A couple of them have taken some losses. Obviously my general's still in good shape, and the Scythian Raw Horse are okay. But for that extra power, I appreciate Dogbert's heroic riders that are still over here. Meanwhile, I'm able to trying to push up round on the right here to really encircle these guys completely, and to draw these guys out so they can't put all of their units on one side. Total War Zone playing as Rome pushes out this way with a couple of units, Praetorian cavalry coming out to say hi. He's also got his elephants, which I am wary of, and I want to draw these Praetorian cavalry out because I know if I can weaken them, then Rome loses its cavalry strength and can't really do too much. Egypt now, instead of keeping its spears behind its main infantry line, or behind Rome's main infantry line, decides to push on out towards my cavalry. At this point he's trying to form a defensive line here so that I can't hit them from this side, but what it does do is make this area look rather attractive to me and my cav. Unfortunately I don't have that much melee cav over here. I've only got 2 units, and he's got those Praetorian Guard cavalry, or not Praetorian Guard, Praetorian cavalry rather, that I'm worried about. I think it's just hard to tell in this replay if I've got any ammunition on my archers left. I doubt I've got any, so these are now in melee mode. Obviously I really want to charge head on into the auxiliary Syrian archers, but that will incur the wrath of the Praetorian cavalry. Dogbert's just holding the line, trying to push up a little bit with a couple of units, and the Egyptian general teasing us over on that flank. And these guys are now fresh having had a chance to rest for a bit. I pull my cavalry back in an attempt to try and lure Rome out. And so at this point that Rome pushes forward with its forces, and Egypt sort of defends with it and comes back to again protect that flank.
Riders, advance!
I'm constantly pulling my troops round, trying again to encircle the enemy and keep them from presenting a united front against our combined forces. Dogbert is waiting for the opportune moment to strike, and I'm trying to pull this Praetorian cavalry away, but they're hidden in a little dip here, so I can't see them that well with my cavalry moving on round. So for now, the Praetorian cavalry are invisible to me, as are my Scythian royal horse over here and one of my horse archers over there. They show up again as we start moving these guys back up the hill. I'm just walking them, trying to obviously get them to rest up a little bit. And Rome pushes forward with its infantry now, slightly over to the right as well. Praetorian cavalry once again shown and exposed. The Egyptian general left here, spears pushing towards my troops, and again I'm happy doing this because it means I'm pulling the Egyptian forces away from Rome, away from Dogbert, so he's got combined strength there. And I now split my cavalry because I see there's a big enough gap I can get in behind the lines. He's pulled too far forward. I've run my cavalry both sides. He doesn't try and pull spears round. The Roman player does see what's going on and starts sending his elephants over, auxiliary African elephants, as well as his legatus, as well as Praetorian cavalry. But I've got my cavalry now, and I'm bringing up the rest of my cav here. So I don't mind that he's got the Praetorian cav, because I've got 4 units of melee cav charging down on them. Meanwhile, over here, I haven't been able to get over to this gap as much as I wanted to. Dogbert's seen the gap as well, and he's going to try and pull on in. I'm keeping my general safe. In we charge against the Praetorian cavalry. Armoured lancers get a charge in there. Scythian royal horse too. They've used Draco on us. I've moved up with my my horse archers, and they've still actually got some ammo, as we can see. They're still firing. Charging in with my melee cav against the Praetorian cavalry, which aren't charging us. In comes my cav charge to break the Praetorian cavalry. Heavy Carty cohort we've crashed into the side with the noble horse archers, because at this point Dogbert's charged in with his heroic nobles, which actually should outclass the Evocati cohort that Rome's brought. I now decide it's time to pull back. I don't know why I sent them that far out, but pulling back in with my other cavalry. We've managed to do some damage to the Praetorian cavalry here, but the elephants are coming in as well. But at the same time, we've drawn the Egyptian general out over here, and I'd like to silence him if I can, but they're just hitting my noble horse archers over there. We get a rally from the general. I think that's from Dogbert, and then we also get hit by more Draco. So it's just kind of a matter of who's going to break first over here at the moment. Keeping the pressure up, and bringing my general, his cavalry forces in. Dogbert's managed to get behind the lines and charging in his heroic riders on the flanks, breaking the Evocati cohort, and he's trying to do the rest to the rest of the Roman line there. A couple of his units are starting to waver as well. My Scythian cavalry coming back on over, and the Egyptian general here turning away from my noble horse archer, and I tell him to attack him, just to keep him tied up and not in the fray. Now, throughout all this cav engagement, the Egyptian player hasn't been able to throw his spears into any of the points where we were getting bogged down in a cavalry fight. Praetorian cavalry still charging after my Scythian royal horse, but Dogbert's bringing up his chosen spear band, which are going to help on out at the flank here, if they don't flee. And I don't know what the spears are doing here. I would have gone back to the Roman infantry line and held up there from the back, because I'm starting to charge in and flank them. Royal horse though getting hit by the African elephants of Rome. We're trying to keep them at bay. They are taking some damage. I'm bringing my general in to try and take out the Roman general, the legatus here, which has already been pinned by my Scythian royal horse. So I charge in with 79 of them there. These guys are exhausted, the elephants. They're not able to move too quickly. They did just trample. Dogbert's infantry have been hit pretty hard and they're starting to go, but I still have my cavalry here, and the Egyptian player is now pulling back as well. Maybe it's payback for Roman players staying out so wide early on. So I'm going into the back here, I'm going to hit some slingers, and I'm going to try and take down their general, the Legatus. In goes my general, in comes with the charge, try and find a Roman unit to kill. Dogbert still has troops down here, it's just these ruddy elephants that we're trying to break down. Rome's general starts going, a couple of my units are starting to waver as well. We've got rid of the Roman general, he's gone. Roman units start breaking. And at the same time the Egyptian spears start going, and I'm actually just charging them head on with my cavalry at this point to try and pin them from one side while I charge in with what's left of my horse archers from the other side. Their morale isn't that great, they're exhausted, they're shaken, we've just taken out the Roman general, and so I throw everything I've got against them, even if they are spears. I throw my cavalry into the back of them and we get a costly victory. So another victory for the DogLion. Please do tune in for the next battle. 2 more to go in the series. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Please do remember to comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Take pride in joining the Legion. Ciao for now.